All right, before we get into the next story, I want to remind everyone that our YouTube channel is completely demonetized. You know why? Because we tell the truth on this show, and as it turns out, the overlords over there don't love that. So we're making $0 from this on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could go ahead and just make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 100,000. We are so close, and I'm popping champagne on the show, and hopefully, whenever that happens, and I do pop champagne on the show, I'm not with a bunch of non-drinkers. Because it's very weird, because I do, in fact, love alcohol. And the people around me on this show, it just so happens, like, a lot of them do not drink. So it'll be interesting.
100K champagne power hour for the news.
Oh, my gosh. I would not be alive. There is a reason that every power hour I am moderating it and not actually participating in the contest. Because
we know this.
Because scientifically speaking, I can't, I'm too small to do it.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to the latest on the Biden crime family. So members of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee, previously, it was just James Comer and Jamie Raskin who had the ability to view that FBI FD 1023 form today, which is the confidential human source report that the FBI had in their possession. And all the members were able to view it today. And of course, this comes after the FBI had not given the document over. Comer had threatened to hold contempt of Congress hearings, and the FBI finally said, fine, we'll show you guys. So they all saw it. And I want to play for you a clip of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who spoke to the press today after they had seen the entire document. And she kind of detailed what she saw and how bad it really gets. Watch.
The owner of Burisma said that Hunter was stupid and that his other business partner was smart. He also said that he paid $5 million to one Biden and he paid $5 million to another Biden. And it was all a bribery to get Shokin fired and end the investigation into Burisma. He told the informant that he has two pieces of evidence showing proof of payment to Hunter and specifically Joe Biden. You see, I think what everyone needs to understand is that business owners, at least most smart ones, whether they're good or bad, whether they perform their business in a legal manner or a corrupt manner, they always keep records of their business payments, accounts and receivables. That's how it's done. And this owner of Burisma kept a record, especially of the bribes. And if you're in an industry where you have to pay bribes to get your business deals done, then you always want to keep a record and keep proof of your bribes, because that's how you make sure you get people to follow through on what they're done with. What I read today is again, shocking.
She later confirmed that the other Biden that received the $5 million, according to this paid informant by the FBI, who, by the way, has worked with the FBI for over 10 years, was, in fact, Joe Biden. Jason, you have been working on this before any of the mainstream media, before any Congress people were talking about it.
2020, I think.
Yeah, it's hard for me to even remember that that's how long ago it was that you were talking about this very thing, Burisma, and what was happening in Ukraine with Joe Biden in this pay-to-play scheme. So I'm sure this doesn't surprise you. But I guess my question is, does anything actually happen with this?
Well,
you've had the information for 3 years and we've not seen anything happen.
Yeah, what we had 3 years ago was enough to, I guess, propel some curiosity from some of the people that could actually look into this and find the smoking gun, because we've never really had the smoking gun. We know that Hunter was doing these things. We know he shouldn't have been doing these things. We know he had no reason to do these things. He was not an expert in natural gas, for crying out loud. I mean, I almost said Halle Biden was part of these deals. Was she some kind of expert in some of these international? No, it's obvious, shadiness going on with the Biden family and, following, the big guy around the world making these business deals. But we never really had the smoking gun linked directly to Joe. That's kind of what she's getting at. It's what it sounds like. And she kept harping on, there's these, they kept these financial records. That's how these things done. Checks and I mean, okay, that's fine to say that. And I'm assuming that's the direction they're now moving is to try and find these specific financial transactions, because the way the Bidens have done this that I've seen in the past is there's multiple bank accounts, payments are getting spread out all over the place. They're getting those suspicious activity reports because it looks so shady. But I want to see how it actually got to Joe, because that is the top of the mountain here.
But do you ever actually see that? Because, again, this company is in Ukraine. And how do we know? Are they just going to hand it over?
Oh, gosh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're currently involved in a money laundering scheme with the entire, entirety of Ukraine. So how do we trust that we can even get that information?
And I kind of doubt you really would, because if this is all true, right now this is alleged, but if this is all true, then that means that the Burisma executive got what he wanted because Shokin was fired.
Right.
So he paid for something, and then he received a product.
Right.
Why would he just hand over the dirty evidence to Congress?
Yeah.
And he's in Ukraine. So
right, exactly.
I highly doubt it. I don't know. I won't say never, but I'm just skeptical. I'm also skeptical on what the FBI has actually turned over to them, and I've said this on your show before. I just don't trust the FBI at this point. Why would you try to hide that information? All you had to do was redact the source's name.
Source's name.
That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
You make a few redactions. At this point, and it was funny, I was watching today, you saw not only from Marjorie Taylor Greene, you saw basically the same thing from my favorite congresswoman ever in history, Anna
Paulina Luna.
Woo.
I know her.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'll get you an in.
Let's talk during the break. But she said the same thing. I think Lauren Boebert was saying the same thing. But on the other side, who's the other guy? Who's the minority? Is it Raskin?
Jamie Raskin.
Raskin is saying the exact opposite.
Right.
So we're not going to get this story. It's not going to be put to rest until you make those redactions and then show it to the country.
Yep.
You're going to have to show it to us
Yep.
for us to actually get any kind of resolution on this.
Yeah.
Do I see that happening? Again, I don't know. But I really sorry for filibustering.
No, by all means.
But
he's really good at filibustering.
I'm really good at it. I think that this even goes a lot deeper. So there's a lot of names that are starting to come to my mind from our Ukraine specials that we've done on this. There's a big guy, another big guy in Ukraine called Kolomoisky. And we were looking at how he was involved with Privat Bank and how Joe Biden was involved with that. And it was looking like Kolomoisky was embezzling IMF funds back during 2014, 2015. I think a lot of this is connected. The Democrats are insanely invested in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Every time they get into power, something kicks off in Ukraine, and usually something off the books is going on in Ukraine. I want to see this go all the way to fruition. I want them to follow the money trail as far as it'll go. I think a lot of big names will pop up. I question the resolve of some of the GOP and actually seeing this through, but I hope they do. It's probably going to be very nasty if they do.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts, Oren, but I want to play for you really quickly Joe Biden being asked about this today and his, I don't know, that's just malarkey, please, much.
Wait. The bribery allegation, Congresswoman Nancy Mace says there's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
it's a bunch of malarkey.
Just a bunch of malarkey, Oren.
I mean, we're lucky he didn't just kind of wander behind the curtain and fall off the stage, right? I mean, he doesn't. The whole problem here is that it's not just the Democrats, right? The Republicans seem incredibly invested in this money laundering scheme we're calling a war effort in Ukraine. It's very clear that often pieces of conservative media are beating this drum on and on and on. I don't think there's any kind of political will anywhere across our federal government to make any kind of change in this, whether they're materially invested on both sides or whether the Republicans are just being led around by the nose with this kind of Russian scaremongering. Yeah, I get it. He's a bad person, Vladimir Putin.
Right.
Don't like him. But obviously this is not something we should be funneling all of our tax money and all of our defense infrastructure into, unless, of course, people are really materially interested in doing so. So I don't think they have any motivation to go any deeper with this. And it's really going to take somebody, I think, at a state level to go after Biden if you're going to see any movement. I don't think you're going to see anybody in the DOJ, any kind of special prosecutors, anybody from the Republican side of the aisle who's really going to make a difference on this.
Go ahead.
The hubris of his statement, though, right there.
I know.
Where's the money?
I know.
I almost took it as good luck finding it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we covered our tracks well, type thing.
Yeah, because that's the condescending smile that he gives. That's the same smile that he gives anytime, someone catches him in one of his lies or asks about all of the other criminal behavior or asks about Hunter or whatever. He gets very combative. And he gives that same, look at that. I would call that a something-eating grin, but I don't feel like we're using the swear jar today. I'm out of change today, all right? So that's all I'll call it.
If you like that clip, there is plenty more where that came from. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to the News and Why It Matters YouTube channel to watch the full episode.